Welcome to Seattle Sound, then and now. I'm your host, Owen Wright. I'm sitting here in the pod booth with my director, executive producer, and quite frankly, the hoodoo guru that you do so well. David, how are you today?
Doing all right.
Excellent. So I like to let everybody know that when we're doing the podcast, we do them every other Sunday, and they usually roll between 12 and 4 o'clock. So that's about the timeline if you're thinking in your mind, where are they at? Today we're in the pod room at my house, and
That's right.
and it's going to be a couple. I think we got a hot week of weather coming ahead. I think,
Sure.
like in the 80s. I mean, what are we barbecuing tonight, Dave?
Steak and lobster?
Well, that's a possibility. I had chicken last night, so no chicken. Oh my God, Dave, did you have a good week?
Yeah, it was a good week. It was productive. I started taking melatonin, so it's helping me sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah. A lot of editing.
I just smoke a couple of rippers.
Then I can't edit.
Well,
Then I just sit there and laugh as
And
it's just playing right
and then
through,
there's
and
that.
I don't make any marks.
Okay, folks, we're going to get right to it. Today, the new victim in the pod watchcast on Seattle Sound Then and Now is my good friend, Bradi Jones.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Bubba.
Hi.
So, Brady and I have known each other, I'm going to say 30 years, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Ish.
going on that.
Yeah.
About 25 or 26, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Do you remember how we first met?
I do. I was brought to you in Old Lady Litterbug show.
Oh,
And I was like, who are these people? My God, these guys rock.
I
But
forgot about that, man.
yeah, that one or I'm not sure which one it was, but it might have just been a party at your house in the apartments
We're,
in Capitol Hill. Because Tim was in a band. My husband, Tim, was in a band with Tommy.
so, when I met your husband, Tim Jones, he was playing in a band called Cherry Blonde.
Yep.
Did you know him back then?
No, I was a wee lad. I was
How-
12 in...
It's a good thing you guys weren't dating. He could have been in some trouble. What?
I was in middle school in Montana at that point in time.
So let's stick with that point in time. What were you listening to as a kid?
My life changed when GNR came out, and I was a total metalhead, completely metalhead. Like,
When the
that.
first Guns N' Roses record came out, I heard it on the radio. I can't remember what song it was. I thought Nazareth made a comeback.
And I wouldn't have known who Nazareth was.
So Nazareth,
Yeah.
Nazareth is a band
No, I do now, but
that did a song. Now you're messing with a son
Yep.
of a bitch. Now
Yep.
you're messing with a son of a bitch. And then they had another tune, but that guy's voice, Axl mimicked it, and I don't know if Axl knew who they were. I'm sure he did. But I'm like, fuck, Nazareth just made that record. Whoa. And that band had
Oh
been
my God,
around
yeah.
for like 30 years already.
from
And
the
I
70s,
was,
right?
and then it turned out to be GNR.
And one of your old buddies, maybe? Duff?
Duff McKagan plays bass in that band. They're still touring like maniacs. God, I haven't seen Duff for a super duper long time. Shoot, the last time I saw him, we went and rode our Harleys. We went, it was he and I and Sean Kinney and some other musician guy and myself. We got on our Harleys, and we were all clean and sober for many years. And those guys still are. I still like to drink and smoke weed, whatever. But we went bar hopping like you do on your Harleys. We went
Yeah.
to Alki Tavern. We went to a couple other taverns on our bikes, but we were ordering fake beers.
Nice.
I would say that was one of the funnest times I ever had going out to bars, because I'm not a bar person. But going out and just having some fake beers with the fellas and riding our Harleys
That would've
from
been a
one
blast.
point to another and not being fucking buzzed on your bike is a really good thing. So anybody who rides, ride safely, keep the rubber down to the road.
Yeah.
So getting back to your love of music, and GNR came out, and were you tripping or what?
Yeah, I was a small person.
She was little.
Yeah, I was just a teenager when that came out, and it was seriously life-changing for me. Like I just had never felt that before when I was listening to music. I was like down my spine going, ah! That and Bon Jovi and Skid Row, and I had a Motley Crue all over my walls. And so I was in small town America. You know, they don't make that many
In
stops there.
Montana.
Yeah, the town that I lived in was 100 miles past Billings, so nobody would go hardly anywhere to Billings or anywhere. They would make stops once in a while, but they wouldn't really
You know what's weird about that is
kinda
that
like
in my band, My Sister's Machine, and we did tons of small independent tours where we played, and we never really went to Montana a whole lot. I mean, we did, but it was like one-off shows, and then we're like, you got to be in Oklahoma in 4 days, and you're like, oh, fuck, you got to drive forever. But yeah, the bigger bands never really, well, they don't really have like a civic auditorium, or do they have a hockey rink?
No, they have a place in Billings actually, and also Missoula.
Mhm.
And I probably
Missoula's bigger, right?
Billings is the largest, and then Missoula is I think the second largest,
And then Helena.
and then Bozeman maybe, but Helena, yeah, is right up in there. Yeah,
Gotcha.
but
About a-
Billings is larger than everywhere.
About 1,000 people.
I was actually raised in a town of 1,200 people, so
Wow.
yeah,
Crazy.
it was very yeah. My dad was the superintendent and mayor, so it was like, and it was his hometown. So when I got an MIP, everybody knew about it.
I'm shocked but not surprised.
Yeah, exactly right.
When you were getting into high school and you were listening to the radio, and were there any local bands in your area that were playing?
Other than the marching band, no,
Excuse me.
not in my area. In Billings, there were rock bands and such, but nothing that was national.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, once in a while, people would come from Seattle. You know, of course, like Pearl Jam would always play in Missoula, just
Yep.
because, like Jeff Ament was from Montana.
Yeah, he lives there now still,
Yeah,
or has
I'm not
a
sure.
place there still, I think.
Yeah, he's from there, so I think that was a lot of the reasons why they were so willing to come to Montana and
Sure.
play all the time. So I got to see them a lot, and Stone Temple Pilots. But
Love that band too.
yeah, they were great, amazing.
When did you move to Seattle?
I moved to Seattle in '95.
And you were how old?
I was 19.
So
So-
95.
And the thing is that I always
Trying
say
to figure out how old I was.
that I'm like 5 years past. I like miss everything by,
By
5
5
years.
years?
Like I miss the '80s by like 5 years, and then I miss by the '90s by like 5 years when I moved here. So, or like by 2 years or something like that.
When you moved here, so your husband, Tim Jones, he plays in a popular band here in Seattle called the Memphis Radio Kings.
Yep.
When did you guys first meet?
So I was working at a bar called the Rock Sport Bar and Grill in West Seattle,
I remember it well.
and I worked there for like 9 or so years.
I remember that well.
And we used to have a lot of different bands play there. And
Remember we did the food drive?
yes, that was the first time I ever sang, ever.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we just met there, and he came in to buy his little brother smokes, and I've been with him ever since.
You guys have been married over 20 years.
We're 23 this year, 24 next year. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's
Yeah.
super awesome. I think at this point, we're going to take a short break for our sponsors. As you know, David, I have a lot of coffee table reading stuff around my house. Guitar magazines, art, photography.
Great stuff to browse through between setting up the pod and jamming.
You know, one thing that's been on my coffee table forever since 1995 is an issue of Mansplat. Have you ever seen this thing?
Oh man, there's nothing better than start your day with a bit of mansplat. Really though, this newspaper is fucking gold.
Made right in my town of West Seattle since 1995. Mansplat is an adult twist on all things pop culture, guitars, rock, monsters, cars, chicks, booze, food, TV, and movies, all thrown into a Mad Magazine style blender and printed into a newspaper tabloid format.
There's so much in this magazine / newspaper. Awesome segments. Ones like Ask Dr. Blast.
Some of those columns made it into some pretty big magazines as well.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to mansplat.com, they're currently offering 15 out of print back issues for only $15. Man, that's a lot of splat.
Skeet, skeet, skeet.
What? Mansplat.com. You know, Dave, whenever I call you, you're always working, whether it be on a film, your daily gig, writing a script, editing the pod.
There's always something to do, that's for sure.
I hear you. Between this pod, running my company, writing music, it could be tough to keep up with those little pesky household tasks,
Oh,
right?
you betcha.
Luckily, Des Moines Cleaners has your dry cleaning needs taken care of. Open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., closed on Sundays. I actually know the couple that own it. They're super sweet. You could take one task off your shoulders with the cleaners for all your dry cleaning and laundry needs. Des Moines, the Cleaners. We're back, Seattle Sound, then and now. I'm your host, Owen Wright. My guest today, artist, rocker, Bradi Jones.
Hi.
What's up,
Hi,
girl?
everybody.
Welcome back. So we took a little break, and we're back. So Bradi has been an artist probably most of your life, right?
All of my life, yes, definitely.
And including painting. I mean, I've seen a ton of stuff you've done, and a lot of people have. And the latest thing that I saw, this is a book that Bradi did. I guess let's just start about this. How did the idea come about?
Well, a good friend of mine had collected metal magazines all of her life. And so she had this collection and she wanted to gift it to me. And I was like, seriously, really? So she gave
What
them all.
magazines?
They were all like Metal Edges, Hit Parader,
Cream.
Faces, Art, Rip magazine, all of those. Couple of guitar magazines.
What was the
from the
magazine
90s.
that had that beer called Boy Howdy?
I don't know, but it sounds fun.
It was in a rock mag, and they sponsored this beer. All the bands that had their photos taken with Boy Howdy beer, but I don't know if it was actually ever a real beer.
I don't know. Wow.
You don't know that?
No, I've never heard of that before.
We need to, David. You get a team of
There's
researchers
something
on
weird
that.
about that, making me think of almost there was a series of commercials about a fake beer and also a fake soda back in the day in the early 90s, I think. And
that
it was like
kind of sounds familiar.
it was a trippy ad campaign and everybody was looking for that soda.
It was called. Wasn't it called the Barks That Didn't Bite?
Something like that. I just remember that. It was like
I'll be
in
here
the
all
early 90s. I wonder if that beer had something to do with it too.
Okay, so back to this. Your art in your book.
Oh, yeah, the idea.
Yes.
So I get all these magazines and I'm like, thank you, dude. Oh my God. They were pristine. And I started ripping them apart because that's just what I did when I was a kid. I had them plastered all over my walls. So I just started going through them. And my first idea was to actually case bind notebooks, found notebook paper, and use those as covers. So I did a couple of those and sold those just to friends. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I need to actually use these as inspiration for a coloring book because I'd always wanted to make one. So,
And so this is the book that came out really recently.
Yeah.
And
March.
It's called Look What the Cat Colored In. And that is kind of on a spoof of the Poison record, Look What the Cat Dragged In,
yeah.
their first debut record. And I remember that when that record came out because I walked into Mixed Vintage Guitars on California Avenue. It was like 90.
It was like 89.
I mean, 80.
Something like that. I think 86.
It was before that even.
87 maybe. I
God,
don't
think it was
remember.
almost earlier than that. But they had a copy of the record, and the guys that worked at Mixed Vintage Guitars, they're older guys. Mick Flynn from the band Child.
Oh,
Great band
Yeah.
from back in the day. He had this great guitar store, and they had a copy of that record, and I walked in with one of my guys from my band, Mistrust, and they're like, "Oh, they're here," and then we're like, "Oh."
I remember seeing it for the first time, and I thought they were all women.
That's why
I
Vic and
literally
his
did.
dudes at the shop were making fun of us because we were like the new young crew. We were wearing makeup. We had our capazios on,
Yeah.
and I think my bass player Tim had a zebra striped long robe on or
I would have
something.
been
corny.
all over you guys.
Super fun. Oh God.
Yeah. The higher the heels the guys wore, I was just like melted.
Those are I call those the original good old days.
Yeah, exactly.
It was-
I wanted
Remember
to
the
be-
house parties and
No, because I was
that's
only
right. That's
Yeah.
15
you
years
were-
old.
Oh, you-
So I was watching all
You
of
just
this
got
in
party
LA
shamed.
in like, you know, when I'm 15 and going, "Oh my God, can I just get out of this small town and just finally go to LA and live my life?" And then by the time I got out of high school, grunge had happened.
yeah. We got to get back to your books. So, when like on this one, like what?
Okay, so
How?
the puzzles came about because I've always
Yeah.
been puzzle. I love puzzles, and I love like scavenger hunts and everything kind of puzzles. And I had actually worked for Wizards of the Coast.
Oh
which
yeah, I
was,
remember
like,
that.
which does like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons and such. And they are owned by Hasbro, which does a lot of the puzzle, you know, the games and stuff, any kind of puzzle. So the guy that wrote this one book that I used for reference a lot of, because I found the internet how to create puzzles was completely non-existent on the internet. Nobody did them manually. They all used software creating
Right.
programs. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this the hard way and actually just go pencil to paper. And I did a lot of doing them over and over and over. And I just took to learning it myself and being taught by that one book.
So your writing artistry is in this book a lot, right?
My the entire thing. I went to the Art Institute for schooling, and so I learned graphic design, and I did the entire book. Like
Oh, the
I
one
did,
down on the waterfront. Yeah.
yeah.
Did you
I
draw
did,
that?
I did all the drawing, all the drawing, all the design, all the copyright, all the editing, all of the marketing, all of the publishing,
And also, and
everything.
I read it. Also, I read the foreword is written by a great friend of ours, Jeff Gilbert, who helped me and my guys in Mistrust put very first record full length album that I was ever on out. And Jeff's awesome. How is Jeff?
He is amazing. He's
Excellent.
doing great. Yeah.
Does he
And
still not have a cell phone?
I just love that man. Like he has been my creative mentor throughout my entire stay here in Seattle. Like he was the very first person that I've ever waited on at the
Oh,
bar.
wow.
So I've known him since day one of Seattle living here, and he's always into everything that I do, like creatively. He's always up for helping out and just or pushing me to do something that I've never done before. And
Super
he helped
cool.
me so much on this book. It was unbelievable. I think I'm hilarious. So one thing that is funny is that I would be sitting there trying to come up with the instructions, and I just would take instructions from regular puzzle, like a puzzle book, instructions of one type of puzzle, and then just switch them around into rock world
Right.
kind of things.
So, like the puzzles that always screw me up are these ones where on this one you're trying to find all these band names.
Yeah.
Right here. And through here, and
Yep.
you guys have all seen it.
The word searches. Yeah, the fill-ins are the
This
hardest time.
messes with me super hard. So, great job on me probably not trying this one.
Oh my God. No. The laying out process of that type of puzzle is a bitch. Oh my God.
That's got to be insane.
What?
Yeah.
It's like a
Okay, what
Rubik's
about-
Cube, but on like crack cocaine.
What
Yeah.
about number 6, daughter, feel good?
Okay, so I have to say I love dot to dots. And there's a man, I don't remember his name. First name is James. He
Where do you
holds
start?
the record for the largest dot to dot puzzle in the world, Guinness Book. I learned that from him when you do, you don't have to keep with all of the numbers keep going. You can make it so that it breaks up into parts.
Mm-hmm. I see what's happening right
So,
here.
yeah.
Certain outlines.
Yeah.
On that, you could just go.
Yeah.
And then in the end, really lose your mind.
Exactly. So
and
it's
try to
it
figure out-
looks really bad. It looks really hard. It's not. It's pretty easy. You just got to look, and you got to use your glasses because we're all aging rockers.
Is this our buddy Tammy Down from Faster Pussycat, or is that Axel?
That is Axel. That's Axel.
it looks
Tammy
like-
is the cover art though, and also in there too as well. So I used Axel twice because he's my man, and then Sebastian is in there as well. Sebastian Bach. That came up with the different people that I wanted to include just from my love of their music. That is Razzle from Hanoi Rocks. That I included. It's meant to be a tribute to both the rock photographers that took the pictures that I used for inspiration.
That's Tammy.
That is Tammy, yes.
See,
I had to put a Seattleite on the front cover.
yeah, Tammy.
Well, I mean, one that lived in Seattle, or I'm not sure if he's from
Tammy and
Seattle or
I,
not.
singer for Faster Pussycat, in quick little story, in Milwaukee. I just get done doing sound check at this big ass sports bar. I walk outside to have a cigarette. A taxi cab pulls up. Door flies open. Tammy is in it wearing kabuki makeup, ready to play. I'm like, dude, it's like 5. Owen, get in. We're going to Dahmer's house. And I go,
Oh my
Ooh.
God.
wait, what? I go, okay. I yell into the bar to our tour manager. I'm going to Dahmer's house. I'll be back in a couple hours.
Oh my
As I
God.
walk out, I hear them going, don't let him go. Something bad's going to happen or something.
Oh my
So
Lord.
I jump in a cab with Tammy. We go into the neighborhood and roll right up to that fucking apartment building that he killed all those people in.
Ugh.
We get out. We look like we're in bands. And
Yeah.
first thing we proclaim, we're in bands touring from Seattle, but we want to see Dahmer's place. Oh, man, come on, man. We'll show you. They had a key to the apartment building. We went into the building, right up to his door. Police tape is on it. And Tammy's like trying the knob. I'm like, dude, don't touch that. Like they gutted the place.
Wow.
So it still had police tape on it.
Yeah.
Gee.
Oh my Lord. That's
Crazy.
the
Police
crazy-
tape was around the whole building. I think it was maybe a couple weeks after they finally caught him.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Tammy,
Wow.
no fear. Come on, man. You're the biggest guy in both the bands. Let's go. And he and I knew each other forever. And I'm like, I'm always up for it.
Wow.
Well, you're in town. I would have to go there too. I have to. admit.
Yes,
Yeah.
a little macabre
Yeah.
going on.
I don't know why.
Kind of sketchy. But... another family-owned business I love to go to. That's where I met you, Dave.
Well, that doesn't sound good, does it?
Located at Burien at 5 Quarters Plaza off First Avenue, Burien Liquor and Wine is a family-owned and operated with a small, tight-knit staff who, I know everybody that works there, you guys are awesome, and the largest selection of wines and spirits that you'll find west of I-5. Deals all day, and they even display out-the-door pricing. Open 7 days a week from morning to night. Burien Liquor and Wine has your adult beverage needs taken care of.
I go there every morning.
Dave, you own a home, right?
I do. A townhome, but yeah.
Being a homeowner has its perks, but also it's a lot of work.
Oh, for sure. Loads of stuff I didn't think about. Like one of my showers is leaking into the wall and floor. Part of my deck is starting to give out.
There's always something that needs fixing, or maybe you want to upgrade in the master bathroom, redo your deck, have an island put into your kitchen with a hood over it.
Don't even get me started with the kitchen. We need a total overhaul with that, and I have no idea where to start.
There are professionals who can help design and develop that for you, like Design Develop, local construction company that specializes in just that, designing and developing all those upgrades in your home to make it your home. Design, develop for all your construction needs. You have another book that you're...
So the funny thing is that I was total hair metal, like total metalhead. I didn't like that Nirvana just completely wiped out my metal, and it was just forgotten. like all of a sudden just gone. Grunge came and grunge took over, man. And so like
Crazy.
out of nowhere. And so being from, hair metal world, I'm like, what is happening?
Were you crushed?
I was crushed. Is everybody getting dropped by their magazine or by their record companies and
labels, yeah.
everything? So then I actually moved to Seattle in the world of grunge, the capital. So I am just surrounded by grunge now, and it was funny.
You know what's interesting to me is that in the 80s, the band I was in, Mistrust, we looked like we were in Rat, but we kind of sounded like we kind of wanted to sound like Accept or maybe Metallica. We had a song called March in E minor, but we definitely, we had big hair and tight pants. But we really did know how to play. We knew how to write songs. And as that escalated, when I was in that band, I worked at a film company, and that's where I met like Mark Arm, Bruce Fairweather from Lovebone, Kim Thile, and all those guys. And to them, and they were all grungy.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even a name back then.
No.
But they were all just like, oh, you guys play too? Chris Godey worked there. And we all just kind of made friends. And next thing you know, oh my God, we practice right next door to you guys. So that's how, this, metal, hair metal in the early 80s and went in, and everybody's taste of music changed a little bit up here.
The thing is I've learned so much by all of the research that I've done. I mean, I've been hanging around with you guys for almost 30 years, yet I didn't know shit about grunge because my husband says that my musical taste is 1 week in 89. So I literally
a week or a weekend?
1 week in 89. Because I still listen to only hair metal. So
right.
I mean,
I did too.
I loved it. And so what I've learned is
pleasures.
I didn't know was that everybody was kind of either punk and you guys would play, like the punk bands would play in certain places specifically. And then there was metal. And
Punk
you
bands,
guys didn't
we
play
with them at like Guerrilla Gardens.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that Guerrilla Gardens had 2 rooms, one metal, one punk, and then that was how grunge kind of became.
It kind of melded together in this weird.
I love that. I didn't realize how it came about, and that was amazing to me.
Cool thing is that all those guys knew each other well, and they all supported each other, and
everybody did, right? You guys all knew each other. Like,
yeah, it's 40 years of fuckery. Of all of us.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what band, from The Accused to
all of them.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden I just was like
Malfunction, Green River, like everybody, right?
I thought when you said Malfunction, I thought you meant I was having a senior
No,
moment.
Malfunction. That might be the
Which
same.
is actually probably what was going down right about then. Yeah, no, totally. I was talking to Tom in his podcast when I believe Cherry Blonde, Mistrust, Green River, and God, who else practiced at that place down on Airport Way?
Alice in Chains?
I don't know if they ever practiced there. They were more down Music Banky.
Yeah, you met them at Music Bank.
Yeah, we practiced too. Remember the jam space right below the West Seattle Bridge?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't remember the name of that one. I mean, I've heard about it, but the only one that I was ever to was NAF.
At NAF's, and NAF was like the last of the.
Yeah, because I missed the boat one more time.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get a team of specialists to figure this out for you. We're gonna find out.
Because I've always been the youngest in the bunch that missed out by like three years.
When do we get to see this new book?
So the new book is coming out. It's going to be all, it's what I do want to say is that it was a little bit hard to make light of this genre of music, I've noticed, because hair metal does lend to really, like flamboyancy and just like the colors and all of the happy fun, party, and a little bit less, on the grunge and more flannel.
Well,
but I'm using
grungy's a little more mocking.
And what I find is like the whole singles aspect, like the not really making fun of it, but making it be like you guys felt. I mean, how did you feel when it took over? When everybody started making people wear $500 flannel shirts for photo shoots instead of what they already had on of flannel shirts. You know, like when they were flannel was going down the runways and it was the Seattle sound. Then
honestly,
your podcast.
I wore back in started working for contractors, and I wore army boots to work, and I wore flannel shirts in the winter. As time went on, I'm like, God, I used to wear that stuff all the time for work.
Yeah, it was what you guys had to wear, right? I mean, it was cold.
It was, and you need a pair of boots that's going to last. I mean, a pair of real, honest to goodness army boots that will last. I've still got a pair that are like 30 years old. You should see them.
But when everybody was coming up here and trying to sign everyone, you know, and
you got a little silly for a while.
Yeah, I bet. And so I don't really call that ironic. I don't know if it's like what the term would be for making fun of yourself kind of idea, but that's where I'm going. The whole point of
mockery.
I think it's irony.
Self irony, it's not going to be making fun of like the whole, the look what the cat colored in is definitely paying tribute to the music because I love it so much. It is what makes me have a good life. And grunge has been the secondary thing to me because of my world, you know? So it's a tribute.
And kind of a little bit of irony.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, on the word search, you're going to be making the plaid of the flannel shirt because you'll be circling the words. Or it'll be like a find your stuff before because you got kicked off of your friend's couch. So you got to find your stuff in the picture drawing.
I love that. I love that.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the attitude of hype. I don't know if
I was actually going to bring that up. I watched the movie because doing my research, I had to watch Singles and Hype for the first time. And it was funny to see Paul Larkin and Jeff Gilbert in that because it's their backs. They never turn around. I'm like, turn around. And it was it was just hilarious because I could tell by the hair. But
awesome.
But they even said, you know, on that movie, it was like documentary. It was kind of like, yeah, we didn't really like everybody coming up here and taking over, you know, but all the while there was also this group of people that went down to LA at the same time.
Same thing.
Which was Duff. He said, I heard. And then my husband was one of those.
Gunner went down.
Tommy.
Yeah.
So the metal people kind of went down to LA to try to get signed, some people, but then the other people kind of stayed up here and did get signed. And it was kind of like,
I don't remember. I guess I just remember people that have lived here. I don't remember too many people moving up here, like bands moving up here to try to make it out of Seattle because bands were getting signed. I don't remember that.
There was some.
Probably.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't paying attention because I was just trying to.
You're doing your thing.
Trying to do my thing.
Yeah. And they probably were just new people to the scene, and you guys would have welcomed them in no matter what anyways, probably.
I don't think so.
I think you're not giving yourself enough credit. I think you did.
I don't know about that. You're probably right.
I would like to just give a shout out to my husband that
absolutely
took this book out of the trash can many times because
Good job, Tim.
Yeah, I had looked at it for far too long, the 7 years that it took me to do the book, and I would come to the point of, this thing is not going to sell, and it's a piece of shit, and
he's super supportive.
And he's super supportive, and he would be like,
he's a great guitar player in the band
Memphis
Radio Kings.
But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Tim because he would literally pull it out of the trash can after I was like, I'm done. He'd be like, no, doll, it's going to be great. People are going to love it. So yeah.
I get that feeling. It's because editing and doing film work, it's,
oh my God.
Like people are like, how's it going? You know, you don't enjoy your work anymore at that point.
Well, when you've looked at something too long, you just start looking at words going, is that how you spell the? I mean, you know, like, And there's different people in there that I would have to look over and over up their names, like Doro Pesh. Does she spell it with an E or does she spell it without an E? Or Ann Wilson, is it an E on the end or is it just A? You know what I mean?
So before we wrap it up, we wanted to talk to Bradi Jones about the band Black Bangs. I've seen you guys play several times. Honestly, who knew? You rock.
Thank you.
You know how to fucking sing?
Yeah.
Tell us about the band. How long has it been around? What are you guys going to play next?
So my band is Black Bangs. It's been around since 2009 or so, Jeff Gilbert again, he was like, man, you should play 5-song set this one year for your birthday. And I'm like, okay. So I asked my husband's band, Memphis Radio Kings, to be my backup, and they can sing. Literally, they can play anything that you throw at them.
They really can.
And metal, they're all old metalheads, so it totally works out. I'm like, it's gonna just be butt rock that I want to play, and they're like, fine, let's totally love.
They're all like behind the scenes. They're like, yes.
Yeah, and I'll I'll bring up like, can we play like an old Hanoi rock song? And they'll be like, oh my God, I forgot all about this song. But we don't really play a lot just because they do all originals, so, but once in a while we'll pop up our rock heads and be like, they're back.
Let's
Black Bangs
go.
are back. But
Ollie this.
exactly. And so it'll be like 2 years in between, and it's kind of.
You guys got anything coming up that we could tell the kids
No,
about yet?
not right now. Not right now, but I might have another book signing coming up. I'm sold in Easy Street Records.
Oh, in West Seattle?
Yes, I got into there and I'm like, whoop.
Corner of California and
Alaska. Yes, California and Alaska. You can go on their website or in store. And I'm also sold at Big Top Curiosity Shop in South Park. You can get a hold of me on Instagram.
Okay.
At Mrs. _Jones B.
Very good.
And you can also message me there if you want to get the book from not Amazon or artmobile.com.
See? There's always a way.
I'm a guerrilla marketer.
I like it.
This is going to end our show for today. Thanks for your time today, Brady. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you had fun.
Can I just tell you one thing? I have not been in this kind of situation before. I have a really good time. And you guys are rocking it and doing really, really professional work here. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Let's also say thanks to our producer, director, and to whom I owe a good debt of, what are we barbecuing tonight? Because I'm buying us dinner. Good job. He wants chicken.
Steak and chicken.
We're getting steak. David Yama, my director, Still Pick Productions. David, thanks so much again. This is going to end it for Seattle's Sound Then and Now. Stay frosty.